Now I want to shift the focus from water everywhere to fire everywhere. And now that the fires are largely under control in Knysna, we know there are one or two fronts there still battling flames, but the situation is vastly improved from the last time we spoke. It gives us a chance really to start reflecting on some of the absolutely amazing stories which have come out of this catastrophe. Stories of people rallying together to help neighbours and strangers through this time. Really, as one colleague said to me, the Knysna Fires have made heroes and champions out of ordinary people. I'm talking about the people who've opened up their homes to strangers, the neighbours who stayed on to fight flare-ups when everyone else had evacuated, the anonymous man who lifted up a Brenton pensioner onto his back and carried her all the way down to the beach when he saw that she was battling with the steep evacuation site. I'm talking about Airbnb saying we're waiving our fees. We're asking our clients on our portfolio to open up their homes free of charge for the rest of this month. Not to mention the truckloads and truckloads still pouring into Knysna with donations from all around the country. And of course, financial donations as well. We've heard big corporates pledging, Standard Bank and ABSA giving 10 million rand each, MTN 1.5 million, and then also smaller individual fundraising campaigns. And that's just where I want to touch base for a moment today, because there are lots of them going and people are sometimes getting a little bit confused as to which ones are official, which ones are coordinated by people in Knysna, which ones are just individuals who want to help and have opened up a page sort of willy-nilly. And how do you know who to trust if you want to make a donation? On the line with me is Catherine Deploy, who's the Chief Operations Officer for crowdfunding platform Back a Buddy. Catherine, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Welcome to the show.
It's a huge pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, I know your site has seen a number of fundraising campaigns launched for the Knysna Fires. Do you have a tally? How many so far?
Well, we're probably sitting at about over 35 campaigns at the moment that are live. We have a few other in the pipeline that are still being vetted, but about 35 of individuals in need, so families who have actually lost their homes. And then we also have, as you mentioned earlier, champions, so people that have come forward and said, look, I'd like to put my face to a campaign and I want to tap into my networks and raise funds for a particular organization or a family in need.
Okay, now one of those champions, and I'm happy to see a Miss South Africa finally doing something that's really worthwhile. I'm always a bit skeptical about the concept, but Demile Nel-Peters has raised, I think, over 250,000 rand, hasn't she?
Yes, she's over 250,000. I mean, she's been absolutely fantastic. She's been pushing her campaign, and I'm happy to report that Mr. South Africa has come on board as of yesterday. He also set up a campaign and also raising funds for the various disasters across the Western Cape. So we have both Miss South Africa and Mr. South Africa championing causes close to their heart at the moment on Back a Buddy.
Okay, because of course Demile Nel-Peters is from this area. I think she grew up in Sedgefield, if I'm not mistaken, so knows the area well. I know there's one going for Knysna Animal Welfare as well. Now, the crucial thing is knowing who to trust and which campaigns are legitimate, because we know, unfortunately, con artists do take advantage when they see a gap. How do you vet? You said you've got 35 campaigns live and more being vetted. How do you check them, Catherine?
Well, it's a very important process for us as a crowdfunding platform. I mean, everybody is familiar with scamsters that take a chance, and we have to have very strict validation process on our platform in order to maintain our reputation. With registered non-profit organizations, it's a relatively simple process. So when a non-profit registers with us and wants to crowdfund, we request their NPO certification and we double-check and make sure that all their affairs are in order. But what we do with individuals, it's a lot more time-consuming, but we have to get a copy of the ID of the campaign creator. We normally request between 2 and 3 references, people that we can contact. I mean, with the fires now, we've had to really take it a step further. We've asked for references. We have to determine whether they are actually families that have been affected. In many of the cases, we've asked for photographic evidence. We've asked for images of the houses, potentially images with actual campaign creators in the images. So we really go through quite a hefty process in terms of validation before we put the campaign live. And what we do with individuals who champion causes, so we've had a couple of people who've said, we want a campaign, we want to go and buy goods that are needed, and we want to send it to Knysna, the affected area. We're not going to tell them they can't have a campaign. Of course they can have a campaign, but they need to to be held accountable for the funds that they raise. And a few of them we've requested photographs of receipts when they purchase the items, so that we can communicate with the donors and let them know where their funds have actually been used. But, one of the big things with crowdfunding is the crowd actually protects you. When you set up a crowdfunding campaign, your first network, so your family and friends, are normally the people who contribute first. So if you've lost your house, normally people who know you will contribute, and only once you've received contributions from that network will your extended networks normally open up and they start giving. And only after that traction has been seen on your campaign do we see the media getting involved. So it's very rare that somebody contributes to a campaign when they don't know anybody at all. Often we find those individuals will lean towards the registered nonprofits, the Cause or the Gift of the Givers or Lions Sedgefield. They tend to feel more secure donating to those causes, whereas close family networks normally contribute more to. Yeah, we had people giving 30 Rand, we have people giving 20 Rand, and we have people giving 30,000 Rand. And just to see how all of that together creates such a substantial impact is amazing.
Amazing indeed. Catherine Deploy, thanks so much for chatting to us, Chief Operations Officer